It started as just another ordinary day, the kind where nothing seems out of the ordinary until you realize everything is. I was sipping my morning coffee, scrolling through messages, when a certain text caught my eye, cryptic, brief, and oddly unsettling. It was from someone I trusted, or at least I thought I did. The words didn't add up, and something about the tone felt off, like a warning disguised as casual chatter. I tried brushing it off at first. Everyone has weird mornings, right? But the nagging feeling in my gut didn't go away. It pulled at me, urging me to look deeper, to pay attention to the subtle shifts in conversations and the hidden meanings behind smiles. I started piecing together little fragments, like a puzzle missing its final pieces, but suddenly the picture looked nothing like the one I had believed. The people around me, who I'd considered allies, began revealing cracks in their facades. Their words were carefully chosen, their expressions guarded. I caught glimpses of whispered conversations that stopped abruptly when I entered the room. Doors closed a little too quickly. Invitations stopped coming. These weren't coincidences, they were signs I'd ignored for far too long. One afternoon, during a meeting that was meant to be routine, a comment slipped out, an offhand remark loaded with double meaning. It was subtle, but to me, it sounded like a veiled threat or a carefully crafted excuse to exclude me. My heart pounded as I realized I was no longer in the inner circle. Something was unfolding behind my back, and it was ruthless. I confronted one person, hoping for honesty, for clarity. Instead, I was met with defensiveness, half-truths, and a smile that didn't reach the eyes. The conversation left me feeling more isolated, like I was standing alone in a room full of shadows, unsure who was friend or foe. The realization hit me hard. The trust I'd placed in people was fragile, built on shifting sands. Every interaction felt like walking on a thin wire stretched high above a chasm filled with uncertainty. I started noticing how carefully people watched my reactions, gauging my responses like chess players waiting for a misstep. The warmth that once filled our gatherings cooled into something clinical and calculated. I found myself replaying past moments in my mind, trying to identify when the tide had turned. Was it something I said, something I didn't say, or had the agenda always been there, lurking beneath the surface, hidden behind smiles and handshakes? The more I searched, the more elusive the truth became, tangled in lies and half-truths. One night I overheard a conversation that shattered the last of my illusions. Voices low and hurried, words like sabotage and strategy floated through the air. It was a plot I had unknowingly become a part of, or rather, a target of. My mind raced, heart pounding, as the pieces finally clicked into place. I was being manipulated. The betrayal stung like a cold wind, sharp and unforgiving. I felt exposed, vulnerable, like a puppet whose strings were pulled by unseen hands. The people I'd confided in, laughed with, and supported were now actors in a game I never agreed to play. The realization left a bitter taste in my mouth and a hollow ache in my chest. I wrestled with what to do next. Stay and fight the invisible war, risking further damage, or walk away and preserve what little peace I had left. The decision gnawed at me, tearing apart the remnants of loyalty and hope. But deep down, I knew that clinging to a sinking ship would only drag me under. Packing my things felt surreal. Each item I tucked away was a fragment of a life I was leaving behind, a life tangled in deception and shadows. The walls that once felt like home now seemed like a cage, and with every step away, I felt the weight of hidden agendas lifting, replaced by a cautious hope for freedom. As I walked out that door, the silence was deafening. No goodbyes, no explanations, just the quiet acknowledgement that some chapters end not with resolution, but with the courage to choose oneself over the chaos. The sunset painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, a bittersweet farewell to what was, and a tentative greeting to what could be. I don't know what lies ahead, and maybe that's the point. The uncertainty is terrifying yet oddly liberating. Walking away wasn't an act of defeat, but a reclaiming of my own story, one where I refuse to be a pawn in someone else's game. The journey continues, unknown and uncharted, but for the first time in a long time, it feels like it's truly mine. Even now, the echoes of those hidden agendas linger in my mind, a reminder that trust is a fragile thread, easily frayed by secrets and selfish motives. But they don't define me. What defines me is the choice to walk away, to seek truth and authenticity, even if it means stepping into the unknown alone. This isn't the end of my story, just a turning point. And maybe someday I'll share more about what I discovered, who I lost, and how I found the strength to let go. For now, I'm focused on the path ahead, wary but hopeful, carrying the lessons of the past like scars that remind me I survived. If you're reading this and feeling trapped by your own hidden agendas around you, know that walking away isn't weakness. It's bravery. It's choosing yourself when the world tries to convince you that you don't matter. Sometimes, the hardest step is the first one out the door. So here I am, no longer bound by invisible chains, standing on the edge of possibility with nothing but my own resolve. The future is uncertain, but it's mine to shape. And for the first time in a long time, I'm ready to face whatever comes next. The story is far from over, it's just beginning.